to other people. And I think that's so beneficial. And as our time's winding down, I really want to hammer in, these different models between the owner operator, the executive, the area developer, the master franchisor, and how the area, the master's really kind of the similar thing, just with the lingo a little bit different. And then can we just dive into, as you're an area developer, what does that actually look like? Can you kind of help someone as they're potentially evaluating this opportunity? What does that look like?
So thank you very much. And I have another 10 replies for your compounded question there too. There's actually, I have shared with other brokers in the franchise broker community too, and I could send it back over to you. It's called the 4 types of franchises. So whether there's not a brand, there's over, 70 or what, 7, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7,000 different brands, from McDonald's to Jiffy Lube to Jantize America is a brand. There's over 75 different categories, from restaurants to automobile to facility services or janitorial. But there's 4 types of franchises. Type number 1, the unit franchise. Again, the guy buys the franchise ABC on the corner of the 5th and Main. He wears 3 or 4 different hats. He unlocks the door. He works the business. He locks the door and turns the lights off at the end of the day. There's a multi-unit franchise. A lot of the hair cuttery places are multi-unit franchisees, or even a Subway. You got to own 10 Subways to make any money, right? Those are multi-unit franchisees. There's an area developer, which I sell and support at Jantize America. My area developers purchase the rights to a territory. Let's just say a football city. The area developer has 2 primary roles. They're both sales driven. One is the awarding of the unit franchisees. Let's use my guy. I always use Robert Chess up in Raleigh. You probably heard of him, one of my other things. Robert now sold 92, awarded. So you keep saying sold. There is some salesmanship to it, but Robert has awarded 92 unit franchisees in Raleigh, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. The unit franchisees at Jantize America don't buy a territory or a zip code. They're actually buying customers that are provided by the area developer. Mm-hmm. So at Jantize America, I can speak my National Franchise Support Center, the franchisor, we do all the billing, the credit, the collections. The area developers, they do their sales and marketing machines, selling and awarding both unit franchisees and the end use customer. Then the unit franchisees have the most important job to follow our step-by-step system and take care of the customer service and operations. The unit franchisees are actually the face of the franchise out there, taking care of the customers. And then you mentioned the master franchise. Master franchise is very similar, although I think they buy a larger territory, such as Canada, and we would change the brand to a maple leaf and send it in Canadian money. Or maybe at one time, and we closed it down, is California. I was going to sell the whole state of California, become Jantize West Coast. Then we got into the COVID thing, and you can't spray airborne bacteria because you're also in the pesticide business. So that goes into more, and now we're back to the rules and regulations of franchising. So we started with what's this industry of franchising? And again, I think it's used so broadly because there's just, it's such a broad ocean of opportunities for you, for me, for candidates, for end users in all industries, that makes it so exciting and so successful. So high level, again, franchising is only a group of small business owners all coming together in the same umbrella. And I learned just as much from my unit franchisees day in and day out as I do from my area developers, and sometimes more than all these franchise shows I go to.
No, it's just so fascinating, as you're kind of alluding to in franchising. There really is a model for everyone, whether you're trying to look for the owner operator, the executive, the area developer, the master agreement, all these different models. And then you have, the semi-absentee, all these different models, multi-unit, all these different words, the lingo. It really is a model for different people. It's just based upon what your overall goals are, the lifestyle, the financial goals, and then as we're kind of alluding to, there's bad actors, there's bad apples in every industry. So finding the right broker that's aligned with your values, with your mission, with your why, and then making sure once you are introduced to those franchises, that broker is still by your side, helping you ensure that, the corporate leadership is there. It's not, a fad. They have that long-term track record and they have that strong franchisor franchisee relationship. So I think all of that is very powerful with candidates just finding what you're looking for. And as our time's really wrapping up, one of the things I always kind of tell candidates, and I think with this model especially, it's really, really important to think about is what do you want your life to look like in 3 to 5 years? I think a lot of times people look at what their current salary is, whether it's 150,000, 350,000, and then they start to weigh that with the FDD of the franchise opportunities, rather than kind of weighing the ability that you're building an asset. And can you talk about the monthly recurring revenue, which is what everyone's looking for? Dive into what
No, again,
lifestyle
I
looks like.
appreciate the question and thank you for leading me into Jantize America. But it really goes back to I'm past the stage of being a waiter and trying to pay my rent or put gas in the car now, because I've been so blessed through Jantize and the systems that we've set up. But I got to share with you, JD, the number one reason to become a Jantize area developer is the significant role that you're going to play in the lives of other people. So these unit franchisees, the 175 unit franchisees within the system, or the 90 unit franchisees that Robert has up in Raleigh. Hey, Robert really, he's a life changer. And when I ran the Charlotte territory, I got letters on the wall from Miss Parham and Miss Smith and Miss Gillicuddy that, hey, this is the best Christmas ever, Paul, because I was making 10, 15 bucks an hour. Now I'm making $10,000-$15,000 a month and have my own business. Mm-hmm. So we're able to use our God's gifts of sales and marketing to support these local Jantize unit franchisees. And guess what? My unit franchisees are humble servants out cleaning freaking toilets, man, at night. And I try to our facility services. No, but it's also become more of a essential service. But far as I believe, we've always been essential service because the services that we provide, and it's all intangible, is just such a personal, heartfelt, growing position. And that's what it's all been for me, man. It's never. It was about making rent when I was waiting tables or delivering papers, but it's about people. And whether you're the broker introducing them to Jiffy Lube or Jantize America, or you might say one day yourself, JD, hey, Bill, this isn't just right for you today. I'm not going to show you any franchises, whether it's McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or Jantize, because you got to do some other things. You got to save up some money. You got to put in the bank. Hey, Bill, you just had a baby last week. I don't think it's the best time to invest your last $50, $60, $70, $150,000 in Jantize. So, franchising is really about the people, and it's the people within, I don't know, some other brokers, the franchise family. But there really is a connection within the franchise family, for lack of better words, that it's not about the commission. It's about the mission. And I don't care, even we spoke about the franchise development people who are making a commission, if they really have a heart of hearts and they're in it for the success of that candidate, whether it be you or me, I don't know, but God knows who they are too, right? So that's the important thing. And with that, you're right, we're kind of jumping along on time. I would love to sit down again and just have like one topic. Stay on that for 10, 20, 30 minutes, man, and really break it down.
Yeah, it's just, you have such like I said, 30 years in franchising, even just growing up, your childhood is so interesting. Like, I could sit down and talk to you for the next 10 hours. So,
well, come on. My office is inside the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We could go race cars around the track or play around the golf across the street at the resort, and then go up to the club and hang out with Dale Jr. or something, man. Whenever you're coming to Charlotte.
Doesn't sound like a bad weekend to me.
No, weekends family time. It has to be Monday through Friday.
Okay. No, it's just so powerful as you kind of talk as, families. There's so many families in franchising. You've been in franchising for 30 years. And I just love the joke, you fall into franchising and just a lot of people don't know about franchising, but once they are involved in franchising, people never like go back to like a corporate America role. They never kind of go back to XYZ role. Once they're in franchising, they're really there for life. And then their next generation is typically involved in franchising as well. So it's just so interesting. And, I guess our final thoughts as we're kind of just wrapping up, I just think it's so powerful. One of the things you always say is, in it for the commission or in it for the mission, where as we've kind of alluded to, there's bad apples in every industry. When you're just in it for the commission, it's easy, to set these short-term goals, do things for 2 weeks, a month, 6 months. But, if you don't have your why figured out, and really that's the point of this podcast, 98% people don't know what their why is in life, what their mission is in life. Help people, people like yourself that have had so much success, help people start to explore those different avenues. And I just think it's so powerful at whatever age you are, there's so many people that don't really know what their mission is. The years go by and, they're still kind of the same person to a certain extent. So just whether you're younger, you're in corporate America, just trying these different things to figure out what you're passionate about. And it's just so awesome in franchising how you're able to just get that full education process. And, as we're wrapping up, do you have any final thoughts for anyone? Maybe someone, in corporate America, someone younger thinking about joining the franchising world. You've been in it for 30 years, you're probably not going back. What do you tell someone?
Well, again, maybe going back from the start, all things are possible. And franchising has a step by step system that you could follow for the path of success. But again, I wouldn't be where I am, certainly if it wasn't for the people who surround me, not only my wife and kids, but my CFO, Brett, CPA, Chuck, Linda, Karen, the whole crew here at Jantize America, from Mason on the online marketing to Caitlin with all the paralegal stuff, and even those dreaded lawyers are helping us keep our dots crossed and I's dotted. And so the marketing team who was out shaking hands and kissing babies, and they're trying to make a commission too because they've got to support their families. Mm-hmm. So all things are possible at Jantize America, and all things are possible for you. You just gotta wanna, which I think you've said too. Franchising too is we have a step by step process. If you follow the process, you're going to be successful. If you deviate from the process, it will not work. So we're here as a safety net with a system. Save yourself time, energy, and money is the acronym there. Although I'm not your alarm clock, JD. You got to get out of bed and start knocking on doors.
Yeah. And that's really always the second thing in franchises. You can have all the capital in the world to really make that investment, but people are looking for people to grow, scale a business. They're looking for people that they have these skills, that really align with franchising, where you do the accounts receivable, you do the accounts payable. You don't need to have every single skill to run a business. You just need to have that motivation, that want to succeed. And that's a good wrap to episode 7 of the Conquer the Mind podcast, where have that mindset, you want to succeed, you take that action. Franchising has those systems in place. If you meet with myself, with JD Strategic, you meet with Paul Dorsey, you'll go through a step-by-step education process. Neither of us are trying to sell you on anything. We just want to educate you on the opportunity in franchising. And I always say franchising may not be for you at the end of the day. We just want you to make that educated decision, as we kind of allude to. Number one for anyone is really providing for your family that generational wealth opportunities. And you and I both know firsthand all these countless experiences in franchising. So kind of why we're so passionate about it. So it's really important just to educate yourself. If you are someone, you're not satisfied in your day job, or even if you are satisfied in your day job, you don't want to rely on that 9-to-5 job. It always helps to diversify that income. I always kind of joke about, I'd rather invest in a business that I control, an asset that I control, than, stock market with financial advisors that may or may not have my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Companies that have no idea where it's going to. So franchising really allows you to have that control over your future. So Paul, do you have any final thoughts as I?
No, like you said, I'm ready to wrap up, man.
Awesome.
You've asked final thoughts for like 8 times now. I'm final. Close it. I got to go knock on doors.
The viewers can't get enough thoughts from you, Paul. We'll have to have you back. We
All
want
right,
more
man.
thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts today. You shared a lot with us, and I learned a lot, and I think the viewers will learn a lot. So I definitely
Okay.
appreciate your time, Paul.
Cut. Cut.